If you would take your seat so that we can get started. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Communications Technology and Innovation Committee full committees meeting for January the 20th. And we have a rather short agenda today. As you know, this is our first actual meeting of the full committee. And just because of some of the reshuffling and scheduling because of the issue that we had during the first week of session, we're just getting around to our actual first meeting, full committee meeting. That actually calls for some overloading, if you will. We're going to get a real dump of legislation coming towards us on next week. We have one subcommittee that meets on Wednesdays. That is our Technology and Innovation Committee that will have some bills before it. But then the subcommittee that met today, Communications Committee chaired by Delegate Glass, will meet again next week at 8 a.m. And then, of course, any bills that come from the Wednesday subcommittee as well as the Monday subcommittee will be forwarded to us to take up in the full committee on next week. With that, certainly, since this is our first meeting, we'll go through our introductions. I will introduce, first off, I'd like to say thank you to our Vice Chair, Delegate Irene Shin, for doing a great job that you've been doing with us last year as well as this year. Thank you. Subcommittee chairs, subcommittee of the Communications Subcommittee, Delegate Jackie Glass. And then, of course, our subcommittee chair for Tech and Innovation, Delegate Holly Siebold. With that, I want to have us go around and introduce ourselves, starting to my far right, Delegate Siebold, and then working our way to the left. Delegate Siebold, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. My name is Holly Siebold. I represent the 12th District, which is in Fairfax County and includes the areas of Vienna, Tysons, Merrifield, Mosaic.
Good morning. My name is Delegate Michelle Lopes-Maldonado. I represent the 20th House District, which includes parts of the western end of Prince William County, the cities of Manassas and Manassas Park.
Good morning. I am Delegate Rosia A. Henson Jr. I represent Prince William County, Fairfax County, the Route 1 corridor, Fort Belvoir, Lorton, Woodbridge. So if you're in traffic in Northern Virginia, more than likely you're in my district.
Good morning. My name is Michael Jones. I represent the 77th District, which is South Richmond and parts of Chesterfield. And again, we just are glad everyone has their water today.
Good morning. I am Delegate Karen Keys-Gamarra. I am from House District 7, which includes parts of Fairfax, including Reston, Oakton, and parts of Herndon.
Good morning. My name is Delegate Fernando Martinez. I represent District 29, which is the town of Leesburg in central Loudoun County, and happy to be here today.
Good morning. My name is Ian Lovejoy, and I'm honored to represent the good people of House District 22, which is in mid to western Prince William County. Thank you.
Good morning. Mark Early, represent the western part of Chesterfield County, the 73rd District. Good to see y'all.
Good morning. Tim Griffin, House District 53, Bedford, Amherst, Nelson, the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Good morning. Tommy Wright, Side Virginia, House District 50, represent counties of Mecklenburg, Lunenburg, part of Prince Edward, all of Charlotte and part of Halifax. Thank you.
Good day, I'm Otto Waxman. I represent the 83rd House District that includes the counties of Sussex, Brunswick, Southampton, Greensville, portions of Isle of Wight, portions of Dinwiddie, and the city of Emporia.
Good morning, I'm Delegate A.C. Cordoza. I represent the cities of Hampton, Poquoson, and York County.
Good morning, I'm Kim Taylor. I represent the 82nd House District, which is the majority of Dinwiddie, the city of Petersburg, majority of Prince George County, and Surrey County.
Good morning, Keith Hodges, representing the 68th District, which is Gloucester, Matthews, Middlesex, King, Queen, Essex, and King and Queen counties in Virginia's Middle Peninsula.
Good morning, I'm Joe McNamara. I represent parts of the county of Roanoke, parts of the city of Roanoke, and all of Salem.
Good morning, I'm Irene Shen. I represent the 8th District, which is entirely inside Fairfax County, includes the town of Herndon, parts of Chantilly, and the Fair Oaks neighborhood.
Hi, my name is Alfonso Lopez. I represent the 3rd District, which was South Arlington and pieces of Alexandria, and happy to be here.
Good morning, Nadarius Clark, delegate representing the 84th District, which includes parts of Suffolk, Franklin, Isle of Wight County, and the city of Chesapeake. Looking forward to the work that lies ahead.
Good morning, I'm Delegate Jackie Hope Glass, representing the 93rd District of the House of Delegates, all parts of Norfolk.
And good morning once again. I'm yours truly, Cliff Hayes. I'm the chair of the committee. I represent the 91st District, which is a portion of Chesapeake and a small portion of Portsmouth. Also, I'd like to thank you members, first off, for the introductions, and I'd like to also introduce to the public the clerk who supports this committee is Mr. Robert Asplin. Robert?
Robert Asplin, I'm senior clerk now, so been promoted. In my mind, anyway. I represent the clerk's office.
Thank you so much. Our attorneys staffing this committee, we'll start with Ms. May, Attorney May.
Hello, everyone. I'm Taylor May. I'm an attorney with the Division of Legislative Services. This will be my 7th session, but my first session helping out with House CTI.
All right. Finally, of course, last but not least, another attorney we have supporting this committee is Ms. Attorney Nelson.
Good morning. My name is Casey Nelson. It's my first session with DLS, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, so thank you so much. And of course, we do have additional staff clerks that's with us, as well as our technology committee, technology staff who supports the committee. And we thank you all for the great work that you all do. First up on our agenda today, many of us know and are aware that during our 2024 session of the General Assembly, you so graciously stood up full-time staff to support our research when it comes to technology, and that comes under our Joint Commission on Technology and Science. And so we do have now a couple of employees that are working with that commission, and pretty thorough individuals in their own right. And today we have a presentation from them. First up, we have the executive director that'll come up. We'd like to ask Jody Kuhn to join us for a presentation. She's our executive director of the Joint Commission on Technology and Science. Good morning, Jody.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hello to the committee. I'm very happy to be here as the Executive Director of the Joint Commission on Technology and Science. Today, I'll take a few minutes to give you some background on the Commission. I will go through some of our highlights from 2024 and 2025, where I will then touch on ongoing research and what we are looking at moving forward. Every year, the content that we study is guided by recent opportunities and threats in science and technology that are facing our Commonwealth. These have evolved substantially in the past 25 years, and we have no reason to believe that won't continue. So this is a language from the code, and there are 10 enumerated responsibilities under this, and they fall under the general headings of providing strategic leadership to the Commission, conducting research on relevant topics, and formulating and presenting recommendations to the Commission. So as the chair mentioned, last year, HB 1199 allowed the Commission to hire for both an executive director and one additional position. We are very grateful to the General Assembly for its forward-thinking commitment to advancing science and technology in the Commonwealth and through these positions. My background, I was hired in September of last year, and before that, was a senior manager over data governance in the private sector. But prior to that, I spent 15 years on the executive branch side in the Public Health Secretariat, most recently working for the Chief Clinical Officer, running a data science team at the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services. Our Chief Policy Analyst here at JCOTS, Dr. Kira Allman, she brings experience as a technology researcher in the academic and policy sectors. So her academic work has focused on social aspects of technology use and adoption, and with that focus on digital inequality. Kira completed her PhD at the University of Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar, and then went on to spend 13 years in the UK working and living, and so she really brings insights on technology and science from an international perspective. Last year, with the help of external partners, we completed 4 reports on blockchain, AI, online and data protections, and then our annual report on activities. You can find those reports online, but some of the recommendations include improving digital literacy for both youth and parents, algorithm risk audits for addictive feeds to evaluate the effects on young users, and then regulating AI's use by public and private entities. So in addition to reports, JCOTS focuses on educating its members on current issues in science and technology. Most recently, a law professor, Bertrand Ross from UVA, spoke on First Amendment issues that were surrounding verifiable parental consent and age verifications. So we also had speakers at our subcommittee on topics ranging from agricultural use of blockchain among Virginia vineyard owners to policies and lawsuits in other states dealing with online data protections, as well as the ethical use of AI. So this year we recommended, or last year we recommended 6 bills that have come up this year. And so those are listed here, looking at high-risk AI for deployers, as well as synthetic digital content, the Digital Replication Right Act, high-risk AI for public bodies, the cookie opt-out bill, and then addictive feeds. So those were 6 bills that were recommended by JCOTS last year. So at the last check, there are about 17 bills coming through CTI, but as you know, there are many more that deal with science and technology. These bills address a wide range of topic areas, some of which JCOTS has studied and some of which we have not yet. And issues in science and technology cut across all kinds of important policy areas, from criminal justice to healthcare to state and national security, education, and more. These questions raised by scientific and technological advances never arise in silos, so we look forward to supporting the legislature in approaching these questions with both curiosity and criticality that are required to address the societal implications of these developments. So I'm going to go through some of the bills that were introduced this session dealing with science and technology. Several bills on artificial intelligence, some with a focus on high-risk, regulating high-risk applications, such as requiring human oversight for criminal justice risk assessments. Data centers, lots of data center bills, particular emphasis on water use, noise, location, and zoning. Children's safety and well-being online. There's an emphasis on restricting access to devices as well as social media feeds. Unmanned aircraft with a view on regulating their use by public bodies, including law enforcement. Also looking at cybersecurity oversight and increased fines for violating FAA restrictions. Fully autonomous vehicles, bills proposing bills that are introducing an operator's license and requirements for human drivers to be present. Artificial or synthetic media, focusing on labeling requirements for media used in election campaigns, and then Consumer Data Protection Act, several amendments to the CDPA in areas like parental consent, AI training data transparency, and protections for user-generated content. So some upcoming topics with newly hired full-time staff. We are very excited for JCOTS to provide incisive and timely research to both the commission and the legislator as a whole on these emerging issues. We see our role as simultaneously informative, educative, and advisory. Our goal is to provide those actionable recommendations and options to the legislator, and we aim to stay abreast of the latest technology and science developments of critical importance to the Commonwealth. To that end, we plan to examine several topics this year. AI protections in healthcare with an emphasis on genomics. The combination and the accessibility of quality genetic data opens horizons in personalized and predictive medicine. So our study will explore what are opportunities and risks, and how do we position Virginia to protect patients while also pursuing that cutting-edge innovation. Barriers to digital inclusion beyond access to broadband infrastructure. So as you probably know, Virginia's invested significantly and is receiving substantial federal funding to build out broadband infrastructure. But barriers to digital inclusion do still exist, and they're in the form of affordability, individual community motivation, digital literacy, and more. So closing that digital divide will require a deeper understanding of those barriers in Virginia. Large language models and chatbots. LLMs are a type of AI that currently underpin an explosion of chat-enabled interfaces like ChatGPT. So where users can employ natural language to simply interact with the algorithmic or machine learning system. Already, this technology is being deployed in the service, health, and education settings. So LLMs are becoming increasingly enmeshed in our social lives. I just read an article about people becoming kind of connected and forming these emotional bonds with chat-based LLMs. So we need to examine the opportunities and risks of this technology. And then the last is quantum computing. Quantum computing has witnessed recent advances to the point that really point to the future in which it could enable unprecedented scientific breakthroughs as well as security risks. So if and when this technology reaches this point, we want to be able to put it towards these complex computational problems, but this also introduces new business and development opportunities. So we should explore what it means for Virginia, so we are prepared for a possible quantum computing revolution. The first two topics that I've listed will be comprehensive research that will come out at the end of the year. And then the second two are more fact sheet white papers to introduce the commission to these topic areas that would come out in the next few months. So that's all I have. Mr. Chair, thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kuhn. For that presentation. We appreciate it. And members, I just ask that you would drop your request to speak here on my tablet by pushing your request to speak button. And first up, we have the chair recognizes Delegate Lopez. Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So with the BEAD funding we're getting at the federal level, it's $1.4 billion right now? And so is it true that there's a chance that the new incoming Trump administration is going to claw some of that money back for the last mile broadband development across the Commonwealth?
Mr. Chair and members of the committee, that is correct, that is a possibility.
All right, and so actually, I believe the language is in the budget reconciliation package that he's proposing before Congress right now. It's going to take up the next 4 or 5 months of debate in Congress. Do you have a plan to address that with that $1.4 billion hole we might have in terms of all the work we've been doing?
So, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, we don't work directly with that. But we want to look at the things that are kind of in between that infrastructure and using the funds that are available through other means and working with the housing partnerships that we have to be able to understand. But we aren't affected directly with that.
All right, it's not going to be a huge hit on what you're trying to accomplish.
Correct, it would not. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Delegate Lopez. I would just follow up with that to say that much is already in motion. The Commonwealth was allocated $1.48 billion by the past administration, or what time is it? The existing administration. And so it'll be interesting to see what the future of that happens to be. Here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, we know that the Department of Housing and Community Development under Dr. Holmes, much work has already been done. A lot of applicants from around the Commonwealth have submitted their plans and ideas requesting for some of that funding to come to them to actually be able to deploy high-speed internet and broadband to communities all around the state. There's a portion of that $1.48 billion that also will go towards helping to edify or educate members of our communities to make sure that everybody, as the saying goes, a rising tide raises all boats. We will be able to educate all citizens on the latest when it comes to the use of technology, and also encouraging the investment of technology tools to be used, for we know if you don't, it doesn't do us much good to have this infrastructure and then folks can't afford to use the tools to actually get on board. And so there'll be a lot of education, a lot of discussions around that piece as well. Next up, we have Chair recognizes Delegate Henson. Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have two things. One, if we could go back to slide 6 so I can just get a list of the bills. Thank you so much. And then the question I have is, are we studying AI protections in Virginia elections? So how AI will be used in elections, maybe this upcoming election or further, whether it's from campaigns, from the state, or et cetera. Because I saw your upcoming, what y'all are studying, but I think it would benefit us if we know what we're getting ourselves into and how people will be utilizing AI in elections.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair and Delegate Henson. We don't have a plan to study that specifically, but as we're looking at AI protections as a whole in healthcare, genomics, I'm sure that protections in general will come up. There's also if it is the will of the commission that they want to look further at that, we would be able to do that, most certainly integrate that into our research.
Thank you so much, Delegate Henson. I think one of the ways we can ask Joint Commission on Technology and Science is to ask the chair of CTI to send a letter to the chair of JCOT asking them to study the issue. So that might be a good idea. Thank you. Other members, questions, members? Seeing no other questions for the members, then Ms. Kuhn, I want to thank you, for your presentation today. We really appreciate it and look forward to following up with you, not only during this session, but as we kind of exit the General Assembly session and get into more of the studies throughout the off-session time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, members, the next item that we have on our agenda is administrative actions, and we have one bill, HB 2024. Chief patron of that bill is Delegate Sebo, and we've been asked to re-refer this bill to general laws, and the chair recognizes Delegate Shin, Vice Chair Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd move that we re-refer this to general laws.
Second. It's been moved and probably second that we re-refer House Bill 2024 to general laws. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Nays have the same right. Hearing no nays, then of course, HB 2024 has been re-referred to general laws. With that, members, that exhausts our agenda for today. We look forward to seeing you on next week. Please don't forget that the Technology and Innovation Committee will meet on this Wednesday, and we will update the calendar regarding the agenda for that meeting on the interim in the next 24 hours. Thank you so much. Meeting is adjourned.